Hello friends and welcome to another video lesson from DBOS Talks. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified of new uploads. This video is part of the playlist called SQL Mistakes to Avoid, and here we'll learn about another mistake that will not be easily detected if we are relatively new in SQL or to SQL. The title of this video is Opposite of Greater Than in SQL, or Danger of Using Greater Than or Less Than. Okay, so let's try executing this query from a table called supplier. Select asterisk from supplier. So we see a couple of records there. The table consists of 3 columns: supplier ID, supplier name, and contact name. Now let's add a where clause, a where condition that uses the greater than operator. If you're not familiar with the greater than operator, remember that it was used during our mathematics days back in school. It would be primary school, elementary school. For sure, we have seen this in mathematics. The greater than, less than, equal sign. So we will see these operators. We have seen this in the past. Okay, so the condition is saying that I like to query those records where the supplier ID is greater than, meaning bigger than 3. Okay, let's execute this. And it returns 2 records. Actually, we get the correct output and we also see no errors. So in fact, there's really nothing wrong here. Everything is as expected. But before we get to the next example, ask yourself for a minute, what's the opposite of greater than? For sure, you would say less than. You're technically correct, but when we talk about data, this concept is not that straightforward. To illustrate, let me run the query for the perceived opposite, which is the less than. Earlier, we ran greater than 3. Now we execute for less than 3. Select asterisk from the same table, supplier, where supplier ID this time is less than 3. And it returns the correct data set, all right? If you look at the supplier ID, those values are indeed less than 3. You have 1, and you have 2. So it's correct. Nothing seems to be wrong at this point. However, do note that we could potentially miss data if we will only look at or use greater than operator or the less than operator when we talk about data. To make it more obvious, let's again try querying all the data in the table. Select asterisk from supplier. Okay, so I don't know if you've already get a clue of where this will lead us to. Okay, so here we see 5 records. This gives us 5 rows. However, remember that when we, okay, so this one gives 5 rows. I'll put it somewhere here. If I run the one which is for greater than 3, I get 2 rows of data. Then if I run the one for less than 3, what do I get? Also 2 rows. But there's something wrong here because 2 and 2 and 2 make 4. But remember that total data set, the total number of rows in this table is actually 5 rows. So 2 and 2 is 4, but we are supposed to have 5, just one missing. That's the danger of using only greater than or only less than. It doesn't cover all the possible scenarios in terms of data. So that can be solved by the use of either, I'll write it down here. It's either this operator called less than or equal to, or this operator called greater than or equal to, which is also, both of which are mathematical operators. So because with the use of this one, either of these two, then that will solve our predicament wherein we have data that is missing. Data missing, if you recall, we're supposed to get 5 rows of data, but when we run the query for greater than, we only get 2. When we run the query for less than, we only get 2. So to solve that, we will either use a greater than or equal to, or a less than or equal to. Okay, so I'll just show it to you. So you can see it used to be 2 rows being returned by the select statement here, but with the introduction of the equal sign here in the operator, it will now pick up 3 rows. Okay, and same thing here, which I have made into less than or equal to. Now it's also picking up 3 rows. And why is that? How come there was something missing and now it's in here? It's because if we look at, if I will query everything here, if you focus on this record over here, the supplier ID value is 3. So 3 is neither greater than 3, nor is it less than 3, because it is exactly 3. It is equal to 3. So therefore, that can only be, you can only be able to catch this particular row if you add this equal sign in the operator, meaning instead of using the greater than operator, you will use greater than or equal to, or instead of using less than operator, you will use less than or equal to. With that equal, it catches the one that has a value, supplier ID of 3. Okay, so that is what is happening. Again, if you look at this data, it consists of 5 rows. If you only use the condition supplier ID less than 3, you will only get this and this. I mean rows, these rows. And then if you use supplier ID less than 3, then you will only get, sorry, this is less than 3. And greater than 3, then you will only get this row and this row. You will totally miss this one. So that has been solved by the use of this operator, either greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. Okay. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you have subscribed, please click subscribe and click the bell. I'll be seeing you in the next video.